What we're going to cover is the all-new design. This has really caused a lot of confusion with people because the layout of the photos has changed a lot, in many ways. And what they've done is they've created some new navigation tools, and Apple's created new collections. And think of a collection as an album of photos that Apple creates for you automatically based on information it can deduce from the photos or things you might have input about them. And we're going to talk about how to customize and reorder the layout of the design because they do give you some customization tools. So on your iPad, you've got a Photos app. It's the multicolor burst. And when you tap on Photos, I reset mine so that it's the way it comes with the latest version of the operating system. So I have to remember to get my phone and my tablet in front of me so I don't accidentally forget that I'm tapping on these and not on the screen itself. Okay, so when you open up Photos, the iPad having a bigger screen shows you some things on the sidebar. This area here is called a sidebar, and it shows all of your photos. Has that selected on the left, and it displays them all on the right, plus a lot of other things here. These are the collections that Apple has created. So when you see like recent days and albums and other people and pets and things like that, those are the collections. What we're really looking at is all the photos. I've got 8,028 photos. They're mirrored between my iPad and my iPhone. And you can search for particular photos by using the search box. And Apple now has some intelligence features in it that will help you find things a little more easily. Like if you're looking for pictures you took at a particular location, you can search for that. We'll take a look at search in a little bit. What's confusing to a lot of people are these collections, that things like recent days, I'm going to scroll up here on my phone, albums, people and pets, pinned collections, memories, which have been created. And you can see they're a little bit different between the two here, so and then you can find them and scroll up and you can create memories. You can see featured photos. So I tapped to trips, featured photos, shared photos. When you have iCloud, you can share photos with other people and create a shared album in iCloud. So these all really make the navigation of photos really confusing. But at the bottom, you'll start to see some of the navigation that can help you. You'll see media types and you'll see utilities. Okay, media types is going to help you find all of your videos, all of your selfies, all of your live photos, which is kind of a short, like 2.5 second or so video that you take with a photo, portrait photos, and panoramas. Apple's automatically organized these media types for you. So if you are looking for a particular type of media type, you can find it. There are utilities, hidden photos, favorites that you can mark, hidden photos, recently deleted, handwriting, if you have handwriting in a photo or illustrations. Then they have shared albums here. They have wallpaper suggestions based on your photos, and you can customize and reorder. Now, I'd already customized and reordered once on my phone, but I have not customized and reordered on my iPad. And so you'll see this little message how you can arrange the Photos app just how you like it. And so you got to scroll all the way down to the bottom of your photos to see customize and reorder. And then that gives you the ability to change what collections are displayed, and you can hide other selections. And so that's what has caused a lot of confusion by people, is you get all these different collections, trips, featured, memories, pin, people and pets, recent days. Some people really like it. Some people could care less about it. But it's Apple's way of trying to help you find photos based on things that it thinks you might want to have grouped together. So instead of you having to create an album, Apple's created these collections for you automatically as part of the new Photos app using Apple Intelligence. That's what they use to kind of get it in the background. Now, what happens is that when you go to customize and reorder, you get the ability to choose what types of things show up. So you can choose recent days, and these are mirrored on different on both the iPad and the iPhone, but you can adjust them on your iPad and they can be a little bit different on your iPhone. So just because you set recent days or turned it on the iPhone, I can turn it off on my phone. It doesn't turn it off on the iPad. So they're set up individually. Keep that in mind when you're doing customize and reorder. If you want them set up the same way, bring up this customize and reorder screen and you'll do it. There's also a reset button. So if you don't like what you did and you want to go back to the way it's standard on your phone or iPad, you can click reset and it'll reset it automatically. You can also, so I don't care particularly for recent days. So I'm going to take recent days off and it moves it down to the bottom on the iPad because it's turned off, but just clicks a blank selection on recent days. Okay, so that's one thing you could do. I want to see albums. They're really helpful because I've created a lot of albums. I don't necessarily care about people and pets. I don't care about memories. I don't care about trips. I don't care about featured photos. I don't care. But I like media types. I like utilities. And I don't care about wallpaper suggestions. Okay, so I've changed these settings on my phone now, and this is how I've got them set up. So let me match them. I like albums, pinned collections. You can pin a collection so it's visible all the time. Media types I use to help me find videos, portraits, selfies, things like that. Utilities I like to go to, and shared albums or albums I've shared in iCloud. So let's take out memories. Let's take out trips. Let's take out featured photos. Let's take out wallpaper suggestions here. And I think I've got them matched up. It doesn't matter because I can always go reset and they'll set it up. Now, one other thing you can do, and this is a standard navigation tool on iPhones and iPads, is when you see these three lines in any setting or option here, that gives you the ability to change the order of things. So if I wanted to move shared albums, for example, on my phone, I tapped on those three bars and tap and hold, and I can tap and hold that, and I can slide it up or down and change the order of it depending on how I'd like it to be in the sequence of when it displays in the view that I look at. So those three, just tap and hold on that, and you can slide up and down and reorder these things. I'm going to do the same thing here. Let me get shared albums. I'll tap on that and I'll move it up here. So it gives you the ability to move things around. Just a little bit different shape of the navigation between the iPhone and the iPad. Now, I'm going to tap on the X in the upper right-hand corner, and we'll go back up and we'll see what our photos looks like here. Okay, so these are all of my photos that I'm looking at here. And when you swipe down, you get rid of this little navigation, this little collections here. When you swipe down, so if you swipe down, you'll bring up your photos, and a new navigation tool shows up, which shows all photos, photos by years, or photos by months. And you can resequence, you can reorder these if you want to, and even filter them. This little up and down arrow has a lot of functions in it besides just sorting things. You can sort by the date the photo was captured. You can sort by recently added. Some people import photos from other devices. you can filter the photos. So let's take a look at filtering. Okay. Filtering gives you the ability to filter videos, screenshots, favorites that you marked as a favorite. When you have a photo that you're looking at and you tap on the heart, it becomes a favorite, and that's an album that's created automatically, or screenshots. So you have the ability to filter these right from here. And edited means that you have done some editing in Apple Photos of that photo. So if you're looking for something like that. Otherwise, you can just look at photos by itself. And the reason photos is by itself, because there might be videos in your photos collection, your photos app. It'll say videos and photos, and you can separate out videos and photos from each other if you want to. All items is just everything that you have in there. So if you want to get rid of this, you just tap anywhere in the photo selection here. And if you want to get back to your previous navigation, you can tap on the X and that'll bring everything up, or you can swipe up. Okay. So you can see I've got people and pets still here on my iPad. I've got a pinned set of collections here. It starts to recognize photos, and if you give a photo a name, it'll start to sort and look for their people. Then I've got albums that I've created. Now, albums and these other tools, they have a little disclosure arrow here. When you see this disclosure arrow, it expands things out a little bit. So you have media types, not just a set of, if you want to see all the albums, here's the albums that you can see. And I like to create albums. It helps me organize things a little bit easier. So again, if you just want to change how this is customized and reordered, I can take off people and pets, and then I can tap the X, and now people and pets has disappeared here from my collections. So if you want a more standard type of view compared to what you've used before, media types and albums and shared albums is a good way to set it up so that it looks that way. So let's go back, customize and reorder. I don't care about pinned collections, but I want to have media types, and I want to have albums and shared albums here. And we'll click albums. We'll move this up a little bit and organize that so it's there in that position. You can unselect these things. The new collections are the people and pets, the wallpaper, trips, featured, memories, recent days. So I like media types, but not everybody needs that. If you went to that filter, you could sort by media types as well. But I like to look at them in my view of the photos right away. And so now we have a different view of the way things look here in terms of media types, shared, and albums. But it's because I left something on my iPhone. My iPhone layout is a little bit different than my iPad layout because you can customize the collections for each device independently. So if you have two iPads and an iPhone, you can customize your layout for each one. But remember, just swipe all the way to the bottom to do customize and reorder, and that will give you the ability to organize them in any way. If you don't like the way you did it, you can go up here, tap that reset button, and it resets it back to the way it was out of the factory with the update. So we'll do customize and reorder, we'll do reset, and it'll change it back to the way it was organized. You may find that some of these collections are okay. You know, they're putting artificial intelligence, Apple Intelligence in these things. You can see create a memory movie with just a description. You can describe it. So I'm going to say Paris, and we'll see what it does. I haven't done this before, but it's going to come up with a creation of Paris. I was in Paris in November 2019. It's going out and collecting all those photos and other things, and we'll see it created a little movie for me, okay? And it's got music associated with it too. So just something it pulls together for creating a little movie like that if you're interested in doing that. People and pets, uh, anytime you identify a face in an image or something like that, you'll find that it'll try and identify other faces that are similar to that. So it's trying to find, faces and even animals and other characters in there as well, trying to find. And then you can search for things. So if I wanted to search, you can search for different types of things. It suggests a year ago, Madrid, Emma, if I said, beaches, I can find beaches because I live close to a beach. It's got 210 beaches, and it'll show all of these results. The top results, I don't know how it decides what the top results are, but you can see these first ones here I've marked as favorites when I did them. And so it probably pulls them up, but then it's got 280 photos of beaches it found automatically for me. When you want to get out of this, you can tap done. Ventura Sunset, it created, that is an album that I have. I've got another album, May 20th, 2014, a Rio de Janeiro trip, Mexico trip, at the shore. I forget where that was. So you can use that search function to find things by date, by location, because your phone, when you take pictures with your phone and you're connected to the internet in any way, either by cellular or Wi-Fi, your camera in your phone is collecting what is called metadata, and that metadata is is information in the photo that doesn't display. So it's information about where it was taken, the camera settings, when, location, if it has a map or other things like that. Because you can see on the left here, a collection that's set up for me is a map. So if I tap on map, it gives me a good, I like the iPad layout because it's a bigger screen, but you can see all the photos you've taken around the world based on, and it'll collect them all and indicate where they are by doing that. Again, videos is all videos, screenshots, selfies, panoramas, even if you've taken document photos, you can find that, and of course, favorite albums as well. So there's just a little bit of information that you can get around with and navigate with. The collections is at the bottom. So if you want to get back to your entire selection, you go up to all your photos, and then you have to scroll down to customize and reorder. In your phone, when you're looking at your photos, you have to scroll all the way down to customize and reorder. And that is one of the best tips anyone ever taught me about using the new photos. I watched a couple of help videos on it, organization. And what I do is I basically just keep albums. So I take out recent days, people and pets, pin collections, memories, trips, featured photos, and I keep in shared albums, media types, and utilities and albums. That's all I usually want to have on my photos, and it makes my view a little simpler here. So right away after photos, I'll see albums, I'll see media types, I'll see utilities, and I'll see shared albums. Shared albums are albums that I've created in iCloud that I've created on my phone or my iPad or Mac, and they're connected with iCloud, synced with iCloud, and they give other people the ability to see those albums and add or modify things if I give them permissions to do that. Okay. I wanted to just basically go through those basic tools. There's a lot more, but I don't want to overdo it in one session. I wanted to make sure that you understood what customize and reorder did, what you can do with search, and what you can do with changing them between your devices. It doesn't automatically sync up the customize and reorder function between devices.